This is Digital Anarchist.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us here on another TechStrong TV segment. My guest for this segment is Tami Mazel-Shachar. Tami is the CEO of Incredibuild. And Tami, welcome back to TechStrong TV.
Always great to be here again. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Tami, you and your CTO were on, I guess, a few months ago. COVID times, I lose track.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a few months ago, and we did like a nice little dive on Incredibuild and what was going on, some expansion. But you have some big news to announce to our audience today. But before we do, why don't we just refresh our audience a little bit about sort of who's Incredibuild and what you guys do?
Great. So Incredibuild, the company based here in Tel Aviv, actually is a company that turbocharges software development, compilations, tests, and tons of other compute-intensive workloads. We do it seamlessly by just distributing process across idle CPUs on the local network of our customers. It could be on-prem, it could be on cloud. What we basically do is we transform each compute host into a supercomputer that can have hundreds of cores and gigs of memory, of course, depending on what you have on your network or on the cloud. And we radically shorten by that compute time for a lot of different applications, from many hours to minutes. And that has, a huge impact on the release times, which is pretty much I would say, the challenge of this century, how to get as quickly as we can out to the market without compromising on quality or cost. So the
Absolutely.
company here, and we're about 100 people. So, we're growing and enjoying, I would say, the winds of COVID, which, were tough from others, but I think in software kept on making this a very strong market.
Yeah, well, the whole move to digital transformation and so forth has been none of us, in that it's not just the software, it's companies like mine that are involved in this industry as well. I mean, no one wants to jump up and shout about it because there's so much suffering in the world. But the fact is, we've all been very busy during this past year. And now, as we look towards, God willing, the end, we put this COVID in our rearview mirror, more vaccines, being administered, and we lessen the threat. We look going forward, right? And we're not going to go back to what it was before. We'll build on what we built this year. And so I'm really excited by what the future, near term and future holds. And frankly, one of those things is look, there's been a ton of investment money, PE money, VC money, private money, even people's money on sidelines waiting to see how this comes out. And now we're in a place where there's a lot of money to invest. There's government, the governments have been spending money as well, investing in stuff. And it's an exciting time. It's sort of roaring 20s, if you will, right? We had the roaring 20s here in America in the 1920s, and we could have a roaring 20s in the 2020s. And Incredibuild's been part of that. So why don't, that was my lead into your news. So give us the news, Tami.
I couldn't agree. And maybe a minute before the news, I think, again, that COVID was basically accelerating processes that started before in the software industry. I think the digital transformation, everybody was talking about cloud for so many years. And I think, production maybe, but dev moving to the cloud took time. And I think COVID gave that a push. And I think this was one of the things that made Incredibuild successful last year, because the ability on the cloud, not only to do things more efficient and in shorter times, but also saving money in the same time by being, having the ability to take smaller machines, cheaper machines in more instances, I think made it more attractive. And so what we announced last week was that Insight was investing around $140 million, which includes both primary and secondary, into Incredibuild, and they're joining our current owners, Fortissimo, private equity company. Now, the great thing about this is that, Incredibuild has been profitable since day one. We are a bootstrap company, and we didn't go and look for investments because, our need to support ourselves. I think that the growth the company enjoyed last year gave us the understanding that there is a window that we need to take advantage in terms of accelerating our own growth and our being able to take, a lot more use cases of what we accelerate. If today we accelerate build and compilation and some sorts of testing and packaging and signing, how can we take it further? How can we take this great engine and, make it more valuable for our current customers, but also open up new markets? How can we invest in the US market? The US market has been huge for us, but everything was done from our Tel Aviv office. Now you and I are sitting together. You see it's dark on my side, it's still light on your side. So there is a huge difference. So having the presence in the US is part of, a lot of the investment that we plan. So there is a lot of plans. And I think the fact that Insight, which is really, has a huge portfolio of more than 200 companies, especially in the DevOps and in the software area, there is a lot to benefit from their experience. And I think that, they look at the potential of Incredibuild and think that, we have a lot of what to do together.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, look, that's an astounding amount of money, and congratulations, as they say on this. But I also want to make something clear to our audience out there. So many people, they see someone like you sitting here on the interview with me, and they say, wow, she really got lucky. She did a startup, and they raised $100 million, right? And well, I'd like to do that. Can you imagine doing a startup? But, in your case, this isn't an overnight success. I forgot. I thought you were more than 7 years. How old is Incredibuild now? How long have you been at it?
20 years. Almost close. I mean, it's 2002. So it's a very long time. And I think, we've had an amazing transition. And, I think the idea was that the product from day one was something that the market needed. And the founders really thought that it was a great solution for developers, not to have waiting times. But they didn't imagine that this could turn into a huge business in terms of the total addressable market and what can be done. And only 2 years ago, after this company was spotted by Fortissimo and they asked me to join, we said, wow, this is like a diamond in the rough. You see amazing logos from Microsoft to Adobe and Garmin and Epic and other and many different customers. And it's a very reactive company, great technology. And this is when we kind of turned the company into a proactive approach, enlarging the use cases, starting to talk to our customers, understanding their needs. And I think that kind of pushed us to where we are today. And it's a lot of work. It's not an overnight success at all.
Right.
It shows that resilience and, sometimes patience, business models, and always trying to figure out new ways to do things kind of opens up new windows of opportunity.
Absolutely. So you mentioned expanding to the U.S. I'm trying to think back because it is a few months. I thought you had like an office or two in the U.S. prior.
Nope, we had an office in Tokyo, small office in Tokyo, and small office in China because of the gaming industry. We're very strong in AAA gaming, and all of our U.S. activity was done from Tel Aviv. So we hired our first 2 U.S. employees in New York area.
Congratulations! So you're going to be in New York.
I'm not sure, by the way. If you have some good ideas, let me know. People are saying Austin, Texas is the great place, and maybe
Austin, Texas is great. So I live in Boca Raton, Florida, and I'll make a quick pitch. SoftBank just opened a $100 million fund here. It's a very inexpensive place to work, but it's not Austin, in all honesty. New York is expensive, but it is, and I'm a New Yorker. I'm born and bred there. It's a great place. It's not cheap.
Again, is that COVID taught us that it doesn't matter where you are.
It really doesn't. Yeah, I mean, people are coming down here. We have great weather. We don't have income tax, but Austin gets too hot. But Texas also is very affordable. Look, there's a ton of Israeli companies who have made this move, right? And Boston, San Francisco, Austin, all over. I'm sure you'll find.
Exactly. The idea is to be, first of all, in the time zones of our customers and speak their language in a clear way and be there to support them, not only in sales, but after that, in customer success, in technical support, anything which is needed to make it at the end. You asked, what is for our customers? This is exactly that. We want to make sure they have the best experience, that they make most of our technology and have the ability to do it in their own hours and not have to wake up really early or stay very late in order to talk to us.
Absolutely, and that's a great thing to do. So beyond expanding in the U.S. in a full expansion, as you say, not just sales, what are some of the other things that this capital will enable you to do in Incredibuild?
So I think most of it is productization of more use cases. When we see our current customers in the future market, we know that acceleration is the key to stay competitive. Everybody talks about fast, but at the end of the day, actually taking something which is 10 hours and making it 1 hour, or something which is 40 minutes and making it 2 minutes is crazy important, especially for processes which occur many times during the development process. So it's build-in compilation, testing in all forms and kinds. So packaging, signing, all of that. Now, in order for us to be able to productize all of these in a parallel way and move towards AI, which we're looking at to see how we can accelerate machine learning, for example, or training in AI, we need to be able to recruit a lot of R&D people, a lot of product people, and be able to work in parallel and not, in a different way, because that's the way we can really achieve more value for our customers. And we're also looking at additional technology, not just the virtualization and parallelization, which is how we do the acceleration today, but look into additional technologies that will improve performance. And the idea is to make sure that we're the accelerator in the market. It doesn't matter in which industry, they could come to Incredibuild and find the right way, how to accelerate the different processes. It doesn't matter if it's Windows, if it's Linux, hopefully to support Mac soon. It doesn't matter which part of the processes. We're talking, as I said, for example, graphical things like rendering and shading, which a lot of our customers feel this is, again, a very CPU intensive and time consuming process. So I think this is where most of our funding is going to go. Plus, as I said, geographical expansion and marketing, which is always something important to do. Because I think, a lot of people do not know yet Incredibuild.
No, not it. I agree. Yeah. You do. I mean, the first time we did our interview a few months ago was really the first time I had heard of the company. I've stayed on top of it since then, and then I work a lot with the Insight folks, so I was happy to see that. But yes, you have to got to get the word out there with a bunch of stuff. Important. So Tami, but nevertheless, look, another lesson we've learned in COVID is you got to know the on-off switch. You got to have work-life balance. So there comes times where you want to stop and smell the flowers and say, hey, you know what? I accomplished something. This was and this raising this kind of money and what it means for the company is an accomplishment to be proud of, and it's a good time to take a deep breath, right, and say, okay, now I'm ready to go forward. But congratulations. I mean, it's great. It's great for you as a CEO, right, to be leading this charge, and it's something to be proud of. So congratulations again. But you only get a little bit of a time to smell the flowers.
That's what I said.
Now we want to know what's next.
Exactly. Right? I think, first of all, it's time to always celebrate and thank the team in Incredibuild and, our customers, which always are the one pushing us forward, because they come to us and say, we want to, do more. So I think, we have all of those, and we are very busy continuing to grow. So stay tuned on that. I think there is a lot of more that we can contribute and help our customers and our future customers.
Fantastic. All right. You know what? Website, Incredibuild.com?
Completely, Incredibuild.com. You can find everything about our different products and a lot of open positions, by the way. So this is the time.
All righty. Tami Mazel-Shachar here on TechStrong TV. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back with our next guest.